Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Tanks with the mighty Jingles. And you know, I was thinking to myself, I seem to be saying a lot at the beginning of World of Tanks videos recently. We're getting sick and tired of seeing top tier Russian mediums zipping around and just utterly trouncing the opposition. And so here's something at mid tier. And there's nothing wrong with mid tier games, but then it kind of occurred to me, I can't remember the last time we did feature a tier 10 Russian medium zipping around and laying waste to everything. So with that in mind, here's a tier 10 Chinese medium zipping around and laying waste to everything. Yeah, I know, Chinese communist, Russian communist, same difference. Ghost of Chairman Mao is rolling in his grave right now. Oh no, you didn't. Well anyway, ideological differences aside, here's a top tier communist medium. Joaquin DN-LSS in the 121. And I'm just going to call him Whacker from here on in, starting, as we pretty much expect him to carry on, by utterly curb-stomping that Link 6x6, and then giving the good news to the T-77 as well. This is a very good position for a tank like the 121. It has a very, very strong turret. The hatches are weak spots, of course, but providing you don't just sit still, waiting for people to aim at them, you'll be good, which is pretty much exactly what Whacker is doing. You're not 100% immune to damage, of course. Artillery can still hit you, although there isn't any artillery in this battle, and of course dedicated high explosive spammers like the Japanese high tier super heavies and the T-49 that just hit in there with his gold high explosive are still going to do some damage, but generally speaking you're a lot less vulnerable in this kind of position in this tank than in most. And of course the unique selling points of these Chinese mediums, and holy shit, did he actually just hit and penetrate that ST-82 from all the way over there. But yes, the unique selling point of these Chinese mediums was the fact that they can, and well, in the case of the 121 here you get no choice, but going up the Chinese medium line you're usually presented with the option of fitting either a traditional medium tank gun, 85 or 100mm, or a dirty great big stonking communist 122mm heavy tank gun. Oh hello Mr. T-49, do you really think it's a good idea for you to be sitting there just casually aiming? I don't think it is. Hang on a minute, what's the T-62A doing there? What? Why did... really? I guess yes, really. Well okay, it's his funeral. Now, given all of the carnage that's breaking out around him, and the fact that Whacker is up to 3,500 damage already, and oh yes, please, give me the side of your heavily armoured turret to shoot at, rather than the front, thank you very much, why don't you? You could be forgiven for thinking, as Whacker brings his damage total up to 4,300, that things are going quite well. Except they're not, because the enemy team have 6 kills, Whacker's team only have 3, and Whacker got 2 of those. At this point in the battle, however, I'd like to stop and give a shout out to the T-44-100, who's on the hill here with Whacker. He's just higher up the hill. Now remember, that guy right there, he's a tier 8 medium, and this is very much a tier 10 battle. And you'll understand why I'm giving a shout out to that guy. His name is Uchiha Susaki. Yes, he's a weeb. It's okay, weebs are people too. And you'll understand why I'm giving a shout out to him in particular as this battle develops. Anyway, all appears to have gone a little quiet to the immediate south, so Whacker trundles up to the top of the hill here to see what he can do with the T-44-100, and this... wow, I've no idea how he missed that T-30. Only 5 degrees of gun depression here. And yeah, that one went straight into the T-30's gun mantlet, so oh shit, right. Now this is the kind of situation where tanks like the 121 do not do particularly well, engaging targets below them, because it only has 5 degrees of gun depression, which is shockingly bad. The first hit from the T-77 damaged his ammo rack, so his repair kit's now on cooldown, and you can see how he is really struggling to hit anything that he can actually penetrate. Well, okay, you can always penetrate the side of a T-49 who rolls out right in front of you, but other targets on a slightly lower patch of ground to him, he's having real problems with. It's for this reason that I really just did not like Chinese mediums at all, because I've lost count of the number of times that I would be using the superior speed and manoeuvrability to get around an enemy target. They'd be desperately spinning the turret around to try to keep the gun pointed at me, and then when I'd get to the side or the rear of the enemy tank, I wouldn't be able to do anything other than shoot them in the turret because the gun just wouldn't point down far enough. And that's when I'm on the same level as an enemy tank, so the fact that Wacker here and other Chinese medium tank drivers like him are able to make these tanks work under even more difficult circumstances is pretty impressive. Oh, can he finally kill the T-30? Come on, come on. Yes! Now that's great. I mean, obviously it's great. It's a kill. It's his 4th kill, but he's also equalised the scores. Both teams are at 10-10, which is pretty good considering that just over a minute ago, Wacker's team were losing 4 kills to 9. The enemy team immediately pull back another kill, of course. Wacker's team have just lost their S-tank. And the 60 TP over there looks like he might be next, unless Wacker can possibly do something about it. I mean, he's going to try. And unfortunately Wacker's shot misses, and if it hadn't, well, he would have needed a high roll. But it's possible that his shot could have kept the 60 TP into the game. What the hell did he just... The STA-2's tracks just absorbed the 122mm shell. Then again, can't really complain about that in a communist tank, can you? That would be the ultimate hypocrisy. Communist tanks complaining about tanks of other nations absorbing shells with their tracks. Anyway. Oh. Everybody's dead. Apart from Wacker and the T-44-100. Against 5 enemies. Including a Type 4 Heavy, who admittedly is on low health. A CS-59, an STA-2 with Ferdinand, and an S-tank. That's bad. What's worse is that they don't appear to be the usual gang of trigger-happy, kill-hungry, no-cap kill-all muppets. At least one of them is capping, which means that Wacker and the T-44-100 cannot just sit on top of the hill and wait for them to come at them one at a time. They have no choice but to go to them, which means they're almost certainly driving right into an ambush. And there are now 2 of them capping. And they must be on the other side of that rock, because there's nowhere else. Yep, there they are, 2 of them. But where are the rest? There's the STA-2 and the CS-59. There's the first cap reset. The second cap reset on the CS-59, courtesy of the T-44-100. Excellent news. STA-2's just going to sit there. Fine, we'll kill him. Unfortunately, the T-44-100 has been taken out by the CS-59, and the Ferdinand just popped up in the distance right on Wacker's flank. That was a very high damage roll, but it wasn't enough to kill the CS-59. Wacker's spider sense starts tingling. He still hasn't seen the S-tank or the Type 4 Heavy. There it is, and wow. Okay, he took a hit from the Ferdinand there, but the Type 4 Heavy just bounced gold AP off his turret. If the Type 4 Heavy had just been doing Type 4 Heavy things and firing high explosive instead, Wacker would be dead now. And the Type 4 would not be out of pocket to the not inconsiderable cost of one 140mm gold armor piercing shell. Wacker now has to count on the enemy team making silly mistakes, like the CS-59, reversing out sideways on in front of his gun like that. Instead of just sitting behind the rock and forcing Wacker to commit, that leaves the S-tank, with an extremely accurate gun, manages to miss, and Wacker's extremely inaccurate gun doesn't. 122mm gun, of course, completely overmatches the S-tank's front armour, so all he has to do is hit. Although Wacker is down to his own gold ammunition at the moment, he's blown through all of his armour piercing. So he has to make sure that every shot he fires actually strikes hull armour, not tracks, not side skirts. It actually has to strike hull armour, although considering that his only remaining opponent is the Ferdinand, that shouldn't be too difficult to arrange. The Ferdinand's got to be sweating bullets right now. Oh, there he is. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Now, the temptation to poke the ridge there must have been fairly strong, but you can't count on having enough gun depression to be able to pull that off before the Ferdinand's gun elevation pumps a shot right into your underbelly. So instead, he's going to angle up around the corner, trying to troll the Ferdy into shooting into his tracks, and his repair kit is ready to go if that is the case, but hey, well, it turns out he didn't need to bother. 9 kills, 7,600 damage, 1 kill short of a Pools medal. Eh, it'll do. An unsurprising ace tanker there for Joachim DNLSS to go with his Radley Walters Defender Steel Wall, 2600 damage blocked by armour, high caliber and top gun. And again, a big old shout out to Uchiha Sasuke. It's okay, weebs are people too. in the T-44-100 with an extremely impressive, for a tier 8 medium in a tier 10 battle, 3,260 damage done, which puts him third on overall damage, but second only to Wacker himself on experience earned. With him and Wacker being the only two members of the team to score more than 1,000 base experience, so extremely well done to both of them. And I hope you enjoyed today's battle, because that is it for today. As always, take care, stay safe, and I'll catch you next time.